I think we're ready to go. I've been stalling a little bit. Okay. Hello, everybody. It's been a little bit. Welcome back to the Smiling Rainbow Unicorn of Doom. And it's been a little bit. I looked it up, and it's been all like 2 months and 2 weeks since our last episode. I should probably say, obviously, we haven't had an episode because of, well, this whole virus thing going around. It definitely has made things difficult. So a little timeline. We did our last episode. Let me double check this. We did our last episode, and that we did the last episode of the Smiling Rainbow Unicorn of Doom. It was me, Joe, and Marquez, and we did it on March 11th. And that was our last episode we did. We didn't know that was going to be our last episode, but a few days later, Lander University emailed us, or well, emailed the school and said that we're closing things down. So classes will be online, and we I think we all realized that we're going to go home. And that meant that the show would not continue. At least it wouldn't continue in the studio. I sort of figured I would try to continue doing the show in some capacity. And I don't know what, well, I'll get to that, but so it's a little different over here. You might notice a difference in quality that it's worse. It's worse. You also notice that there's no music, because this now is turned into, or has gone from a radio show that was aired on Radio FX and in the Lander campus to just a podcast that I'm probably going to post on YouTube. So things are a little different. I have a mic. I will talk later on about what mic it is if anybody wants to know. But I thought I would talk about a little more about the setup just because it's different. This show is going to take a different route than it did. And one of those routes is I don't know how many guests I'll have on. For the past three weeks or so, I've had guests like Marquez and Joe and Jackson on, but I don't. It's a lot harder to get in touch with people now, especially to set. Hey, can you come and do something for an hour? It's a little harder now. So I don't know how that's gonna work. So you have me for right now, just me. But also, I do have a different mic, as opposed to being in a recording studio that has like the things to muffle the sound and stuff like that. I'm in my room. I'm in my room, so that means I'll have to stop recording if my dog starts barking, or if someone knocks on my door, or if the neighbor's mowing the lawn, those kind of things. But that's the cool thing about, so they're good and bad to my setup. One of the only good things is that I can do it whenever I want, which means I can have more than one show a week if I so choose. And I can, well, so I should have asked somebody who knows more than me. I am not being aired on Lander Radio anymore. So theoretically, I could curse. I'm probably not going to, but I can. You guys better watch out. It's an option. But I don't think I will. If I won't, I won't. But if a guest decides to do so, I can't make any promises on what my theoretical guests are going to do. So that's the cool thing, is that, and that's the cool thing, if I mess up, slip up and say something bad or say a curse word or my guest, I can cut that out now. I'm going to try to do these in like a, I'm going to try to do it in one take, but if something happens, I have the option to re-record. So that's a cool thing that I don't get on radio, which is good. That's a cool thing about this. And then there are bad things, of course. The microphone, you know what? I'm not gonna say the difference is negligible, but it's not so stark of a contrast that it's unlistenable. I don't think. I'm hearing myself right now, and I don't think it's that bad. And it's a cheaper condenser microphone, but it's a 5 fine. I don't know what the model is. I can look it up if someone is interested in that kind of stuff. But right, so I just thought it was a good thing to talk about where we're at and how this show's going to go for the rest of the summer until hopefully we can get back into the studio in August or September. Well, one thing, of course, is that I'm not necessarily affiliated with XLR Orlando University Radio, at least not in this, what I'm doing right now. So yes, I can do stuff like curse and talk about more controversial things that I wouldn't have been as comfortable talking about on air. I don't think I'll do that, but I do have more freedom in that sense, I guess. In addition, I have more access to this, so I don't have to worry about time. If I want to talk to a guest for like 2.5 hours, I can do that. I won't. That's not gonna happen, but it's an option. But then, of course, the downside is these episodes are probably gonna be shorter. I had an hour, or I had 50-minute allotted time in XLR. Now I can talk for longer than that, but also I'd say 20 minutes of that 50 minutes was listening to music. So I feel like these episodes are going to be 20 to 30 minutes. We're already at like 8 now, so that's pretty dope though. But then, and that's the thing, is that you won't get those music breaks. I love music, and I'm not going to play it here because I actually tried to upload my first episode of XLR on YouTube, not thinking about it, and then it got taken down immediately because it had songs that I do not own. So I'm getting notifications. I never get texts ever, but then right when I start recording, I get text. Ladies, chill out. I should point out I'm not really prepared. I posted, if you follow me on Instagram handle is THMS_HSTN. Of course. If you follow me on that, you saw that last night I posted, hey, I am recording tomorrow, so send me your questions. I don't know why I did that. If I had thought about it more, I would have spent some time today. I plan on, the cool thing about this now is I plan on doing a higher production value and being able to edit these things more. So I can add like background, obviously copyright free music if I wanted to, which I think I will. I can add an intro that I'll make, or royalty free intros. So I can do stuff like that. And I meant to, or what I should have done is made those things and got those things sorted out today, because for the first time in like a week I'm free to do something all day, and recorded tomorrow. I didn't do that. I'm doing it the reverse way, which I guess is fine. I'm a little annoyed. I tried to go on YouTube today, and I'm going to post these things to YouTube. I figured out the YouTube name is literally just, well, you're here, I guess, but Smiling Rainbow Unicorn of Doom is the YouTube name. And I'm going to I texted my family and said, hey guys, I'm recording, so don't knock. And then they all I didn't even think about it. Now that I'm on air, they're all texting me and saying, okay, thank you, good luck. And I didn't think, oh, that will pick up in the mic, because my mic is on the desk and my phone is on the desk. But I'm a little frustrated because I was trying to set up my YouTube. I have a YouTube that was literally just called Thomas Histon at first, and it was where I posted some of my stuff for senior project. I've gotten into that in a different episode. But for my senior project, I made an album, and I had to do a bunch of other stuff. Like I had to make a making of video, like the behind the scenes look. So those videos are there. There are 5 videos. I have it up right now. There is the making of the album itself, and then 3 demos, which I had to post or something. And sorry about that. I just had to cough. And I was trying to make a banner because it was something for the album earlier instead of the show. And I looked up what's the dimensions of a YouTube banner. And it told me like 2,500 something by 1,400. Well, that's not true. I did it and it won't fit. So I had to remake it like 4 times. And it still doesn't even look that great. I'll have to go back. Sorry, you can hear me clicking. But, right, so when we made that last show, we talked about tattoos. And I have a tattoo. We talked about my current tattoo, what we want out of tattoos, and what we think of like couples tattoos and stuff like that. We didn't think that was going to be our last episode. Honestly, I don't think any of us took the whole virus thing that seriously. I know I didn't. I personally have always been good about not letting that kind of stuff freak me out. And that turned into a more oppositional, like aggressive against freaking out about it. Which now, of course, I realize is a mistake, but I'm also not making important decisions. I'm not a president or a prime minister, so my opinion doesn't matter that much. But we didn't think it would be the last show. We made like a passing joke about it. I think I like coughed and they said, oh, you have the virus or something like that. I don't plan on that being a topic in my show at all. Mostly because of I like escapism, and I don't like talking about this kind of stuff in this medium. There's a time and place to talk about that, and a podcast named The Smiling Rainbow Unicorn of Doom is not one of them, I don't think. So that is something I won't really be talking about, or hopefully won't be talking about. I know that's a big thing right now, except for we'll talk about a little bit. Well, you know what? Honestly, let's just get into... So, on my Instagram, THMS_HSTN, I posted something about... I announced that I was doing the show, and hey, you guys should ask me questions. Now I'll probably do all of the questions on the actual show's Instagram, which is SRUDXLR. So you guys should look at that. Follow that. Oh gosh. SRUDXLR. Okay. I just hit something. So I asked these questions, and I got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 8 questions, which is honestly more. I can't count. I got 9 questions. And that's more than I thought I was going to get, so that's pretty awesome. But we'll start with this. I won't say the names of the people who asked me questions, but I'm going to cut all of that out. Nobody wants to hear what I just did. I just cracked my knuckles. Nobody wants to hear that. So I mentioned that in the I need to stop doing that. I keep putting my phone on the desk, but I forget that it picks up on the mic. I didn't get a mic stand. Maybe I should have. It's also hot in here. That's the thing about the studio, is that it was either really hot or really cold. This one, my room's always hot unless I turn the fan on, but if I turn the fan on, you can hear it in the mic. So I just decided to not do that. But I posted that I hadn't named the podcast yet, and I decided just to associate it with my already existing show. So, okay, now I'm getting more dark. All right. But I mentioned that it wasn't named, and now I realize it's named the Smiling Rainbow Unicorn of Doom. It's just a podcast version, just no music version. But the first question I got, and by the way, here's how little I prepared for this. I posted this at like 11 o'clock last night. Today it's Thursday the 30th, April 30th. But the first question I got almost immediately was, what are you going to name it? Well, I'm going to name it the Smiling Rainbow Unicorn of Doom, which is what I just decided that I may as well keep the same title instead of trying to make something different. Just that name recognition, you know. And that's the thing. That's another big difference between this and the show, or the radio show, is that I'm gonna post it on YouTube. And the scary part about that is when you have a radio show, you never really know how many people are listening. And I don't really think about how many people are listening, but when I post it on YouTube, I know. I'm gonna know exactly how many. If I get like 15, that's awesome. That's more than I don't know. I don't want to set an expectation because it's probably gonna be I'm probably gonna be disappointed. But if I get like 1 view, I'll be a little upset about it, right? So that's the scary part about posting this on YouTube, is that I can see exactly how many people are listening. The next question: are you aware of the existence of water bears? What the heck? A water bear? I just immediately imagine the that scene from SpongeBob that's like they're out camping or something like that, and SpongeBob like draws a circle and says it's to ward off, I don't think it was water bears, but it was like sea bears. And it actually worked. He just drew a line in the dirt and it actually worked. That's just what that reminded me of, but I don't think that's what that is. Is it? Hold on. No, not that. No. I can't spell. Yeah, the sea bear is what it was called in SpongeBob, but this is a water bear. Water bear. What? Oh, tardigrades. Yeah, I don't really know much about them, but there are these things called tardigrades. I didn't know they were called water bears, but water bears or moss piglets. Wow, I hate that. Like, that's the worst. Okay. What are they? They're the most resilient animals known, with individual species able to survive extreme conditions such as exposure to extreme temperatures, extreme pressures, air deprivation, radiation, dehydration, and starvation. What? What are they? Oh, they're just like these weird little microorganisms on moss. Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. The bodies look cute, but the faces are really horrifying, by the way. Ugh, I don't like looking at that. But, alright, that's interesting. The next person asks, do you love me? If you're listening, in a strictly I'm gonna cut that out. In a strictly platonic way, absolutely. I just friend-zoned someone on air. Who's your favorite sibling? I don't have siblings. If you're ooh, another one about a bear. If a bear wait, I gotta set the mood. I'm gonna make some music, like put some music under this, like some peaceful nature music. I'm just making more and more work for myself. I didn't think this through. Okay. If a bear eats honey and bees make honey, does that make bees cross species chefs? I don't know why I got really close to the mic for that, but I would say, one, that could apply to us. We eat honey. And absolutely, I think that bees are really an underrated animal. Y'all are sleeping on bees, I promise. Yeah, that's pretty adorable to think about bees as little chefs. They're just making food for us, even though they don't like it when we steal the honey. But anyways, oh gosh. The next question, more people have died from coronavirus than the entire Vietnam War. Well, A, that's not a question. B, historically, we typically refer to that as the Second Indochina War. Third, I don't want to talk about that on air. I didn't specify in the Instagram post that I don't want to talk about the virus or politics. But that's not a question either. That's unfortunate. And I think that we're all very lucky to still be safe. A lot of us are still safe. I'm still safe. So, yeah. I don't want to talk about this kind of stuff on air. I keep saying on air just because when you're on radio, you're on air. This is not. While recording is what I probably should say. Okay, the next ones are actually good questions. The next three were the final three. So, I guess let's go with this one. This is interesting. Of all the things you wonder about, what do you wonder about the most and why? That's an interesting question. So my life is I'm a history major. So for the past 2 semesters, my life and what I've been focusing on thinking about is history related and school related. I like to think about my place in the universe, and then I get sad. No, I think that's an important question. The idea of what the meaning of life is and what your individual meaning of life is, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. I think that's what a lot of people... I don't think you ever fully answer that question, even as an adult. Even on your deathbed, I don't think you'll ever really figure that question. But that's what I try to think about, which is maddening. That's a great question. That's awesome. I just don't have... I guess I don't have a philosophical enough brain to talk about that extensively, I suppose. Have you been practicing good social distancing, my son? I want to point out that my dad did not write that question, which is funny. I'll play your game. All right. Okay, Father. Yes, I have. I am lucky enough to still have a job. I work at a grocery store, so I'm blessed enough to still make money. A lot of people are not fortunate enough to, or I guess are unfortunate as they do not have a job anymore, which is unfortunate. So that's the only place I go, really. Sometimes I'll go like get stuff out to eat, but as for like walking around or going to the mall the mall's closed, but no, I don't. I've been staying inside, which leads me to my next question, or the final question, actually. And then we're going to wrap this up in a little bit. This is about the length I want the podcast to be, is 25, 35 minutes long. If it's by myself. If it's with someone else, that's a lot easier to keep a conversation going. But I do have some ideas for some solo stuff I want to do, which will be fun. I'll get into right as we conclude up. I don't think that's as we wrap up is what I meant to say. What prompted you to want to do a podcast? Well, awesome. So the fact that I've been doing social distancing and haven't been in college, haven't really been interacting with anybody or doing much, has prompted me to do a podcast, right? So it helps that I've been bored. Honestly, I've been pretty bored. And I know that when I'm not doing work, or when I'm not at work or doing schoolwork, and schoolwork's about to wrap up, that sitting playing video games or watching YouTube is not a great way to spend your time. There's a time and place for that, and I absolutely intend on doing it. But to spend all your time doing that's not a good, at least for me and what I want. I don't want to spend my time doing that, and that's what I'd do if I didn't have something. So I was looking for something to do, and I want to shout out, I'm not gonna say his name on here, but one of my professors. I was doing some project that I'll talk about later when it starts developing, but I'm doing some sort of project. I'm doing a project with a professor, and I mentioned that I'm scared for the summer because I'm going to be a little bored. And he sent this out to this group that we're in, but he said, y'all should consider making a podcast. That's what I do. And I was like, that's genius. Let's do it. And I was deciding whether I wanted to make music again or do a podcast. I decided just to do the podcast, mostly because I didn't want to spend a ton of money for the music, and I know I'd only release like 2 songs maybe, and I don't particularly enjoy it that much. I know it would just be a waste of time and money to do that. So I'm working on this podcast, and I want to put a lot of time into it. That's why I want to edit it, and I want to add music and make an intro and stuff like that. So that's what I've chosen to spend my time doing. But I actually absolutely want to shout out that professor, if he's watching this, that he definitely inspired me to make a podcast. And I'm just, as we're about to wrap up soon, I think it went pretty well for the first time, considering I haven't been in front of a mic in 2 months, 2.5 months. So it's good to be back. It's good to expect, I don't know when this video will come up. I still need to edit it. I need to work out an editing style. I need to find some music, and I would want to do some promo stuff on my Instagram. So Instagram SRUDXLR, expect some promo stuff from that. So absolutely follow that. And if any of you are listening and want to join in on the podcast or have any ideas of what you want me to do next, absolutely let me know. I have a few ideas. I want to get some friends on and look at just some like Reddit text posts and read them out loud, because they're pretty funny. They can be pretty crazy. I kind of well, you know what, I'm going to surprise you for the next episode, which will probably be by myself just because I need to plan some stuff out. I have an idea for what I want to do, and it's going to be fun, I hope. So I think that's about it. That was awesome. I'm so glad to be back doing this stuff, and I really am glad that you guys are still watching and still listening. It's really awesome. So we're going to wrap this up, and thank you for coming back to the return of... I want to drop something. Oh, gosh. Thank you for coming back to the return of the Smiling Rainbow Unicorn of Doom. You guys stay awesome. Peace.